and I'm on record as telling this story, and believe me, it's not going to hurt the feelings of the people involved. But I went up to Hunter and I said, Hunter, you work with both The Rock and Steve, right? He goes, yeah. What's the major difference? He goes, Steve's punches hurt like hell and Rock's don't hurt at all. I said, bingo! But they work for each guy. You know, and it was like Steve would never hit in the mouth and the teeth or the jaw, but he would lay that stuff in, man. There was no day at the beach. And when it was March 16th, I wrote a little story about Austin 316. I said that, you know, there are guys who said to be so smooth that working with them in the ring is like having a night off. I said, don't get me wrong, I love the guy, but
he wasn't one of those guys.
Steve was one of the greatest workers in the history of business, but working with him was never a night off. He pushed you, he made you better, he wore you out, and man, when he was making the comeback with those punches, you know, you felt every one of them. And somebody said to me, like, well, why didn't you ever complain? I was like, complain? Like, he's Steve Austin, and every single thing he's doing is resulting in a bigger response than I ever thought possible. Like, here's the bar, you know, as far as I was shooting high, for where I could be. And every night you're out there with Steve, you were eclipsing anything you could have imagined. So step one was working with guys like that. I'll gladly tell you the biggest WrestleMania response I ever received was as a guest referee in Steve's match with The Rock in Philadelphia at WrestleMania. The people were losing their minds. Everything they did, it was unbelievable. And I've been in the ring a lot, you know, a couple thousand matches, I think. It's been said wrestlers all exaggerate how many, actually, you know, the cell wasn't 30 feet tall, right? You know, Jimmy Snuka, if you look carefully, was probably not leaping off a 15-foot cage unless Jimmy was 13 and a half feet tall. You can see him walking, and it's like, it's only this much taller than his head, but you hear it so many times, 15-foot high steel cage. So wrestlers exaggerate almost everything, but I'm telling you, as a guy that had around 2,000 matches, I'd never heard anything like I heard that night. And so wrestling itself was becoming bigger than I ever thought possible. And I was lucky enough to be near the top of that wave. You know, like I wasn't Fonzie or even Richie, but I was Potsy or Ralph, you know, like I was there with the guys. And because people recall that time so fondly, and because I could, you know, I mean, I did a pretty good job when I had a chance to do mainstream stuff. If anyone watches and goes back, they will note that I always wore a Winnie the Pooh shirt when I went on mainstream television. Because I believed it would be harder for them to be mean to me than wearing a Pooh Bear shirt on. And so that was another thing, you know, being asked to do those type of things. And then, you know, even goofy things. Like if I see someone, I'm a pretty good judge of character, I think. If I see someone like at a Walgreens, a woman especially, and this isn't a sexist comment, this is what I've experienced. If I see a woman looking at me, I'll look at her and go, celebrity wife swap? Like, that's where I'm from. And look, even when I came off, you know, like come out of the LAX, you know, the airport, and I've been on the red eye. The first time I saw that professional camera looking at me, can we get a word with you? I was like, all right, who are you shooting for? And they said TMZ. You know, there's two choices you can make. Get out of my face, or I guess I'll get some free publicity out of this, you know? And so you even have to look at those opportunities, and if you can connect with people who weren't normally watching the show, and then WWE had that vision of how to do that. Vince, you know, to his credit, a lot of things people thought were suicidal, declaring wrestling as entertainment, turned out to be the best things that could have happened to us. You know, I have all the respect in the world for the heels who literally had to fight their way out of buildings. The deeper in the South you got, and I'm not, you know, Miami being a little bit different, you know, but, you know, because there's so many different cultures combining here, but the deeper you got in the South, you would say that was fair, right? The more rabid the fan base, you had to work stiffer because the population centers were much smaller. So you could get away with having some room between punches and not laying it in mega centers like New York and Boston and Philadelphia, because then there's going to be hundreds of thousands or millions of potential customers to sit in their places. When guys are dealing with their major hub being 100,000 people, like, you had to bring those people back, and those guys fought and they made you believe, and they were proud of the scars they had. Terry Funk will tell you that his greatest moment as a heel came when he was stabbed in Corpus Christi. And I said, well, what did you do? Did you call the police? And he looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, you know what a compliment that person paid me. That was hated me enough, and you think I'm gonna pay back that compliment by calling the police? And that Terry was a different breed of cat, man.